Welcome to Rev Up Your Business with Hilda Gan, the podcast for people-centric leaders, business owners, and HR professionals who know that people are at the heart of business success. Join me and industry experts as we explore the key aspects of building a thriving company, sharing cutting-edge strategies, impactful insights, and the latest trends to help you ignite your business growth. It's time to rev up your leadership, rev up your success. Let's get started. Welcome to another episode of Rev Up Your Business. Today, my guest is Dee Boswell-Buck. At 47 years old, Dee made the bold decision to leave her 26-year corporate career and launch her own business. And she hasn't looked back since. A certified social media strategist, Dee empowers service-based business owners to transform their LinkedIn presence, book more quality leads, and boost their revenue. Her journey began on mat leave in 2012 when she grew a local mom group into a thriving online community of over 400 members, catching the attention of major brands. Now, the founder of Boswell-Buck Creative Consulting, Dee leads a dynamic team helping women amplify their voice and achieve strategic growth online. Her mission? To ensure every business owner realizes their potential to shine and succeed. Welcome, Dee.
Thank you, Hilda. I'm so excited to be here.
You and I have chatted for a bit, and I was so excited to say, yeah, let's book a time, because one of the most popular sessions is always about LinkedIn, And today we're going to focus on mastering your LinkedIn strategies by connecting it with your business goals. So many times people put things in LinkedIn, but they don't follow up in a way that really gets them, leads, etc. So share with us some of the actions in your business that must align with your top 3 goals.
Yeah, so thank you so much. So when it comes to showing up on LinkedIn, on social media, one of the questions that I always ask myself and I ask my clients, I always ask, like, what are your top 3 goals? And I leave it at 3. Sometimes I'll give somebody one more to make it 4. But the whole point is that whatever you are sharing on LinkedIn, it should align with your goals and help you to reach those goals. So, for instance, of course, people say, I want to earn more revenue. And that's actually a top goal, but I don't really call it like a goal to list out because that is something that we all want to do. But your goals could be something to the case of, I would like to fill more individuals for a particular program. So that is that goal. You may have 6 different programs, but maybe you want to focus on one. Or another goal could be that I want to play the long game and ensure that I'm always growing my email list. And like an email list, some people think that that's not very important, but that's a major goal because we want to ensure that we are sharing social media content on LinkedIn that's going to get more people to join your list. So that could mean that you need to make some more downloads and things to that effect. And then, of course, like there could be some other goals where perhaps you wish to like grow your network. So on LinkedIn, it's not just about showing up and pushing content, but it is a networking platform. And you may want to have a goal that allows you to build that network of potential collaborators so that you don't have to work so hard to get your message out.
That's so interesting, because I think oftentimes people just think, well, I need to tell a little bit about myself. I need to follow this formula. I've been kind of following your posts lately, and I find the content really, it's like aha moments. And I remember you and I chatting, you say, yeah, I think about what do I want to know? What do I need to know? And I share that. And if people haven't seen your content, they need to visit it, because to me, it's like she gets it. Like she's actually answering questions that I've had on LinkedIn about how to do more with my LinkedIn.
Yeah, thank you. So I think it's always important to listen to our audience or listen to our clients. And one of the things that one of my clients told me was, Dee, I know you know your stuff, but sometimes you get too technical. And then I'm not quite sure. And I was like, oh, okay, that's something. And I always like to think about like, how is it that I can look within to make things better? And so I get excited when I get people on a call, and I have my clients on a call. One of the things that I'll say to them is so if that was too technical, just let me know. But then I thought about my content as well. And so I think about the technical aspect, like why people should consider endorsements, and endorsements are like something that you could do on LinkedIn. And then I thought that sometimes it's just really great to talk about the basics and then take that a little bit further. And a lot often my analogies are also with like what it is that you could learn about LinkedIn that is something that you feel like, aha, I really learned something. And then also I like to share analogies that align with what we do in real life.
Can you give us an example?
Yeah, oh, so often I have one. One of the things is, okay, what do I do when I send a connection request to somebody on LinkedIn? Now, okay, I'm going to send a connection request, and then I'm going to immediately pitch them. And I was at an in-person event the other day, and it was just a conversation. And I talked about how when we send out a direct message, like how to do it with ease, and then the one of the things that often people would say right after is, and then when do I send them a pitch? So I like to, my thing is like, what would we like in real life? I think about when I walk into a store, I do want somebody to say hi. Like, I'll be honest, Hilda, like if people don't say hello to me, and because I've worked in retail for a long time, I'm kind of like, I can't believe that no one has said hi to me. And I'll be walking with my daughter and I'll say to her, her name is Lena, Lena, no one came up and greeted us. So I want like that simple greeting
Yeah.
because it breaks the ice.
Yep.
And
Yep.
so I think like when we're sending out a connection request, something that could be so simple is just to thank somebody for accepting. So, hi, Hilda, thanks so much for accepting my request. Have yourself a great week. Or Happy New Year, Hilda. I'm so glad that we're connected, and just leave it at that and then engage with the content, and just kind of like build some relationships before trying to sell something.
I love how that person says, so when can I pitch? That, that kind of person's mental mindset is, I want to sell you something. I want to sell you something. And people they may not be aware of things in detail, but intuitively, you know, when somebody is just, stalking you for, for the purposes of getting something from you, and early networking 101 is create a relationship,
Yeah.
and you see it in live events where people are walking around and they're basically trying to see 30 people, give the business cards and move on. That's not a connection. It's just, and what you're saying is the same in LinkedIn. So I have a question for you then related to this. One of the things that I like to do is, like, people will connect with me, and or I'll connect with them, and I usually like to, when I accept or it's accepted, is then to look at a person's profile and then see something that's worth further connecting. So let's say, John decides to invite me to LinkedIn, and then I'll read his profile before I accept. And I'll also
Mhm.
see if there's other LinkedIn people that I know. And then I'll say, yeah, John, thank you for reaching out to me. I notice we have these things in common. And then, happy to continue to chat. A lot of times people don't even want to continue to chat. They just want that increased. I'm just a number, right?
Yeah.
And then the other times they'll say, so, I have this program. Are you interested? Ah, like just the other day, I got somebody who said, hey, Hilda, we haven't met for a while. I'm starting up a group program you might be interested in. I looked at the date when we first met, and there's
Oh,
only one email, 2017.
ooh.
So I'm thinking, you've never reconnected with me, and now you're searching all of your prospects and then saying, hey, there's a program you might be interested in. I don't even know you, and it's been 8 years now since we
Yeah.
connected.
Yeah, and then I mean, I had something similar the other day. Someone connected with me, and then they sent me a, direct message about a program or service that they have. And I thought to myself, well, before you think that you know that it would be a great fit to me, my question is, how do you know that, right? Like, so I think that, like, one of the things I think about is what's in it for me, not as in like what is in it for me, the business owner, but that person on the other side. I like to like try to get into their head and what are those questions that they may be asking? Because when that person said that, and I think they sent me a connection request in 2021, and then when they sent me something about their service a couple of months ago, I thought to myself, I'm not sure what in my profile or in the content that I've been sharing would think that he would think that this would be a great fit for me. So even if there was like an explanation or an invite to a conversation, it would have been better.
Yeah. But the way he wrote it was probably so generic he didn't even know if it
No,
you what would make it interesting for you. You were
yeah,
just fish and see if you're interested. But yeah,
yeah.
there's way too much of that going on. Just finishing off on this topic of three business goals. Are there sometimes goals that you, when you hear them, you want to help redirect them because they may not be the right goals for your audience?
Well, I think it's more in line of like individuals having like a better description of what those goals are.
Okay.
So often, like when we think of some of the jargon in our industry, like we totally understand it, but the person that we want to like take in that content, they don't understand that industry. So I remember there was someone who said, I would like to work with more individuals who have limiting beliefs. And I was like, okay, that is not a lot of information. So in that case, I work with my clients to say, like, what would a limiting belief be like that you could help somebody with? And also, questions that I ask are those individuals who have these specific limiting beliefs, what are they looking up on Google to solve these problems, solve these symptoms? Who would they be looking for in terms of titles? Like, who is it that they think that they can help them? And so I start with like getting more information so I can really understand and pull out more information so that when we are sharing that content and somebody reads it, they say, oh, she's talking about me.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that's so important. I think sometimes we get carried away with the knowledge we have and the desire to share that. We forget that that desire may not connect with the clients that you want. And so it's sometimes pausing and kind of listening, not listening, but thinking about what they need and then trying to provide what they need. And I think that's what you really do well on your posts. Every time I read one of your posts, I'm thinking, she gets it, she understands it. And when you and I talked about it, it's so good. And she said, well, I like to think, what do I need to know? And I put myself in the people's shoes. And you're doing a great job of that.
Thank
So
you.
let's talk about some of your favorite ways of sharing content.
Yeah. So are we talking about for myself or for my clients?
Both.
Okay, all right.
You
So
choose.
yeah, okay. I'll share a couple for my clients. Now, but for myself, I'll get started. I love like in terms of sharing content, and in orders from like the best to the least, I love sharing my LinkedIn newsletters. Like I'm a late adopter of like the LinkedIn newsletter. I used to share these as LinkedIn articles, but now I turned on the newsletter,
Mhm.
and I thought to myself when it was rolled out years ago, like why would I do a LinkedIn newsletter? Like I have a newsletter that goes out to my readers on Mondays. And then I have like another newsletter that goes out to another group that I work with as well. Why would I have a LinkedIn newsletter? I don't even have like email addresses. What's the whole point? And then I did a deep dive and I am like absolutely in love with the LinkedIn newsletters. So, when you first launch that newsletter, it goes out to everyone in your network. So just think if you're connected with hundreds of people, or if you're connected with 5,000 people, I mean, a lot of these individuals, you don't remember that you were connected with them and vice versa. So when you send out that first newsletter, it alerts everybody. So now people are like, oh my gosh, who's D again? And then when you share that newsletter for those individuals that you are connected to, whenever you're sharing that newsletter, whether it's like weekly or bi-weekly, that notification shoots right to the top. So I like anything that alerts people that, I'm in their feed. And another thing is that those newsletters, you can add a search engine optimization on the back end. So I write the newsletters to answer questions that people have. And then I think about what that title would be. And then I hope, my hope is that when somebody is searching for that particular topic, my LinkedIn newsletter is going to show up on Google because LinkedIn is like a trusted resource. So I'm all about like LinkedIn newsletter. It's like a win-win all the way. The next thing that I love to do I do a Wednesday LinkedIn Live. So I'm a little bit of an introvert and I don't do a lot of video content, but the video content that I do are my LinkedIn Lives. And I really enjoy that because I have them being very interactive. People are in the chat as well. And then strategically, it's a great way for me to get in front of get on the stage of the people who I'm interviewing. And then, last but not least, I like the basic and not so basic, but I like the basic posts where it's a text with an image. So, with those, I don't often share my branded photos, but I will share like a photo of me that is me at my desk, or maybe I've gone out for a walk or something to that effect. And those are my posts where I'm sharing things that are from the top of my head, something I'm thinking about, or I might even be answering a question for someone. But I like to write those in a way that's very conversational. So those are my top three. And I was going to speak about my clients. Some of my clients, like their videos do very well, where because LinkedIn is really embracing video. For me, videos on LinkedIn, and maybe it's something I need to embrace, but videos for me, they don't do very well. So I don't show them for myself. But for my clients, it's like, oh my goodness, I wish I had that much engagement.
Any other ones for your clients?
Carousels. So I have a client who has locations of hospice care in California. So she wants to really stand out as like thought leader and have her company page and her profile show up in ways where people can consider like those two areas of LinkedIn as a resource. So often what we do is we'll share carousels, and the carousels could be, for instance, like what is the difference between hospice care and palliative care? How to keep seniors warm in the cold months of winter. And so those carousels do very well for her.
Okay, so some people don't know what carousels are, techie.
Thank you.
And so will you describe what a carousel is?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Hilda. So, a carousel would be multiple images, and with those carousels, you can add some text to the carousel. And when you upload it, you're not going to upload it like here am I uploading some pictures. You upload it into LinkedIn as a PDF. And then what happens is that when somebody is taking a look at that carousel, they're literally just able to slide through and just read through. And what I love about them is sometimes we do on the very last image, we'll have a call to action and we'll even invite people to repost if they thought that it was helpful. And then it's able to get out to more people on LinkedIn.
I knew what LinkedIn carousels were, but I thought I think you need to describe it. And the beauty of it is some people actually use it almost as a mini training. You
Yeah,
can take the 7 steps to
yeah,
difficult conversations, and then step 1, step 2, step 3, and then the call to action. So yeah, it's a
yeah.
really good feature. These are all very advanced suggestions. Are there any simple ones that the beginner can have that would be favorite content for them, just as they're starting out in the world of advanced LinkedIn strategies?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the wonderful thing about LinkedIn is that there are so many different ways that you can show up. So for instance, like I'll talk briefly about Instagram. Instagram, they really favor videos and reels and they make it very known. And so if you're sharing like the one image, you'll kind of feel it. You'll say, I wish that I had more engagement. And with LinkedIn, there's so many different ways to show up, some of them that I mentioned. But something that is so easy is just sharing like a post that is all text. So a post that is text, and that post could be something educational. I like to whenever we share like a text post, we think about like a specific amount of characters. So we'll start maybe off at maybe 700 characters to 1,000 characters. And the reason why I think about the character count is that the longer that somebody stays on your post, then LinkedIn counts it as a really great impression. But like I said, that is something so easy. So if you love writing, or perhaps you've got some blogs or some resources on your website, then you can take an excerpt from that and have an introduction and just share it up on LinkedIn. And that's like a very easy character post. And then, often people say to me, I don't have a lot of branded photos. And you can just share something so simple. Like I mentioned, you don't have to have these branded photos. You can have something very casual. Because at the end of the day, like those who are on LinkedIn, yes, they are business professionals or those looking for a job and things like that. But at the end of the day, those who are behind the accounts, they are people and they really enjoy the fact that you're showing up as you are and sharing about what it is that you do or sharing things that are very helpful for your audience.
What are some of the things we should not be doing?
Ooh, okay. Now, for those who are on multiple platforms, not all of the posts that we share on one platform is always going to be a great fit on LinkedIn and vice versa. So, if you're going to share a text post, of course, that's not going to do well on another platform. So, what I mean by that is that who think about your audience. So, for instance, for me, my I had a specific audience on Instagram, and I thought, well, I'm going to show up more on LinkedIn because I would like to connect with a different type of audience that my business would be a really great fit for. So, therefore, sharing this type of content from Instagram or Facebook is not going to resonate with this person on LinkedIn. So, questions that you would ask yourself is, can I repurpose this post? You probably can. However, think about at the end of the day, who is it that is on the other platform, like on LinkedIn, and is it really going to resonate? So, you could look at it as maybe you need to change the caption of that post. There was an example where it was a few years ago. I did a 5K and I was so excited. And I shared the picture of me holding the medal on Instagram. And it was kind of like, yay, me, I did this. And this was in my winning bag. And then I was like, I'm really proud of that. How can I share this on LinkedIn? I'm so proud of it. And what I did was I shared that same picture on LinkedIn. And then I talked about how I worked towards getting to that 5K, 1 week running, or sorry, 1 minute walking, 1 minute running, et cetera, et cetera. What is it I was pacing? And then I ended it with, and those are some of the things that I practice for my clients, always looking at the data. And I was able to like change it that way. So when you're thinking about your content, think about whether or not it would be a great fit. Another thing to think about on LinkedIn that is not a great thing to do is when you are sending a direct message, I think we spoke about this already, not doing that sale right away. Just thinking about LinkedIn as it being a networking platform. So when it comes to LinkedIn, often people think I'm just going to jump onto this platform and share content. And it's really like a networking platform. Who is it that you could meet? That could be a future client, a future collaborator, or those that you've met at a networking event. So think about like when I do connect with somebody, can I invite them for a digital coffee, meeting with them online off of the platform, and then building relationships there. So I don't know if you asked for three or if you just asked me for some types of
I
things I
just
should
asked
be
you for
doing.
some titles. And connections would have been one of them. And
Yes. Yeah.
I appreciate that you shared the differences between Instagram, you didn't use Facebook, and LinkedIn. And the example you gave was perfect because in Instagram you can kind of brag. It's more personable and it's about accomplishments or selling things. But in LinkedIn, it's considered a professional platform, right? So you can't just brag and boast. You almost have to do something. My somebody just won an award, and it's a prestigious award, and they said, "Well, yeah, I really don't want to share something." But I says, "But this is a very prestigious award. You need to share it." And we're talking about, well, so how should I do it? Well, you can't just brag about it. Hey, I won this award. So the way we did it was, you know, at this conference, I was recognized for, the the best whatever of the year, and I would like to thank the people that nominated me and recognized me for the work that I've done. So it's not boastful and bragging. It's a fact that you're stating, but then you're acknowledging the people that supported this and whatnot. And then people then can give you kudos because people do. I find that in LinkedIn, when you have something to celebrate, a win or something, you can get 1,000, likes and maybe 40 comments, but anything else, it's kind of a low blow. But it's always when there are accomplishments that do it. But you don't want to be bragging and boastful. So I suggested this was the more subtle way of doing it.
Yeah, and there's always a great opportunity, like months down the line, to share it as a throwback. So
Mm-hmm.
going back
Yep.
to, I remember starting with a client, and she's an event planner, and we collected a lot of information. And then when I looked her up on Google, I discovered that she won Event Planner of the Year like a year prior,
Yep.
and I was like, oh well. So what we did was we shared that as a throwback post, and of course thanking the individuals and also tagging the individuals who were in that picture too.
Yeah, yeah, cool. Any other tips and strategies about LinkedIn? Because it's such a big thing. I know people love listening to any little gems that they can get. So, any other tips or strategies, Dee, that you want to share with us?
Yeah, so a really quick tip is always like take like every few months, take a look at your LinkedIn profile. Like I think like our business tends to evolve, maybe where we have a new program or perhaps we have shifted our business that we are not working with a particular group of individuals, for instance. So what you want to do is take a look at your profile to make sure that it's up to date with what it is that you're doing in your business as well. And also, in terms of your profile, don't be afraid to like switch out that banner. Um, you could switch out your banner to talk about the weekly lives that you're doing on LinkedIn, or perhaps you've got a program that you're promoting for a few months, and it could say in your banner, like, find out more about this type of program. And then, the great thing to always remember is like networking first. And I'll just say a really quick story where I got on a call with somebody, and the person said, I show up almost every single day with a social media post on LinkedIn, and nothing happened. And I said to her, but did you send out connection requests and to individuals who could be a great fit or that you could collaborate with? Did you look for ways to have conversations and look for ways for curiosity. And she said no. So LinkedIn, like think about that analogy. Like how is it that it's like a networking event? What would the interactions be like at an in-person networking event? And if you apply some of those tactics to LinkedIn, then it's a great platform to be on for your business.
Thank you. Thank you for that. How do people, like, what's next for you, Dee?
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to having a like another doors open for I have a group membership called Content Lab where business professionals, entrepreneurs, they could learn about what types of content work really best for their business. And then within the next month and a half, I really look forward to having another in-person LinkedIn workshop. And I really enjoy like being in front and answering people's questions live and having them come up and walking through and meeting new individuals. So I'll be having another workshop in another month and a half.
So some people may catch this when it first goes live, and some people may catch it after it goes live. Approximately when will this live event happen?
Right. So I am aiming for my LinkedIn workshop to be by the end of February, and then doors opening again for Content Lab in February as well.
Okay, so people will look out for that.
Yes, look out for the post.
Cool. And how do people get a hold of you?
Yeah, so one of the best ways is to find me on LinkedIn.
Of
My
course.
Yes, my profile picture, I always have like bright colors on. Right now, there's like a big yellow background to it. So find me on LinkedIn and also, visit my website at dboswellbuck.com. Thank
Okay.
you for
And
asking.
LinkedIn would be D Boswell-Buck, or
Yes, you could find me at D Boswell-Buck. I did verify my account the other day, so you'll find it at Denise Boswell. However, wonderful thing about LinkedIn is that you could turn on like another name as well. So D Boswell-Buck, you're safe.
sounds good. Well, thank you very much for coming on, sharing your tips and strategies and your knowledge. And I've earmarked that February live event because I always learn from people and other people. So that group setting really looks good. So I've got my mind set on February.
Awesome.
So
Yeah.
thanks again, Dee, for joining us.
Well, thank you so much for having me, Hilda.
You're welcome. And to those who are listening or seeing us on YouTube, do give it a thumbs up. And if you like what you heard, there are many other topics that may appeal to you, so subscribe. Thank you for joining us today, and rev up your business. Thank you for tuning in to Rev Up Your Business with Hilda Gan. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to our podcast on YouTube and Spotify to stay up to date with all of our latest episodes. For more HR tips, strategies, and to learn how you can create a people-centric workplace, visit our website at peoplebrightconsulting.com.